You know, sometimes we take things for granted. For example, how much work, how much equipment, how many people are involved on putting on a live telecast of a NASCAR Winston Cup race. Well, our guys went behind the scenes here at Dover, Delaware, to take a look at what TNN goes through to bring you the races.
After the TNN production trucks rolled in and took their places early Thursday morning, a staff of technicians had the task of pulling literally miles of cable that would eventually connect the cameras and microphones all the way around the Monster Mile. The process of putting the cables in place takes in itself literally hours upon hours of hard work, and it's all done by hand. Back in the compound, phone lines have to be hooked up, power boxes are checked, and the crew continues to crack open containers crammed full of equipment. By Thursday afternoon, things began to take shape. Production trailers are filled with monitors, character generators, microphones, headsets, and hundreds upon hundreds of the nuts and bolts things needed behind the scenes. After the cameras are unloaded, they must all be checked and color corrected before being carted off to their assigned positions. All the while, the complicated jigsaw puzzle of patching all those cables continues. And the man responsible for this portion of the live production coming together is Galen Holloway, engineer in charge.
Okay, when we start on Thursday, we bring in a crew of about 10 people that starts putting in the cable and setting up the cameras and setting up all the audio gear. And then on Friday, we bring in all the graphics people, and they start building all their graphics. And then on Friday night, the rest of the crew comes in, and everyone's here on Saturday to do the show.
On Friday, the pace really picks up. There are credentials to be handed out, food has to be catered in, and sound from drivers must be gathered for both Busch Grand National and Winston Cup telecasts scheduled for Saturday and Sunday.
I think more than anything else is that it tends to be a very specialized breed of people. They have to be, first of all, people that enjoy racing, and they have to know what it is. So you have a requirement there where somebody not only has to be good at whatever their technical or production job is, but also have an interest in what it is that we're doing, which isn't necessarily true with all of broadcasting. There are a lot of people that have jobs working on shows that they might not necessarily have any interest in. But if you're not interested in motorsports, you may as well not even bother to check in here.
Here we go. Stay back to speed.
Well, want to get through this break and we'll deal with it. Stay there, Ron.
Speed on tape.
Stand by, Mike. Roll X.
In 2, 1.
Up on your effect. Music. Go.
Charlotte Motor Speedway was jam-packed for last Saturday's running of the Champions Spark Plus 200.
On Saturday morning, there are voiceovers to record, feature stories to be edited, and that day's show open to be taped. And who does what when is all coordinated in a pre-race production meeting. But just when you think you've got it all figured out, it rains.
Now, this is really simple, Randy, okay? We had the long version of the show I told you about, right? We rehearsed that. Well, we've thrown that out the window for pretty obvious reasons. We now have a hurry-up short version of the show, which is an interview with a pole sitter down on and go racing. And now I've just been given, by a pessimist in the truck, the half-hour rain show. So I've got 3 formats here, one of which is dead, 2 of which are alive. I'm looking up right now, I think probably that half-hour show is the one folks are going to see. I hope not, but I think that's the one.
Good luck. The Busch race was a wash on Saturday, and hopefully rescheduled for a sunny Monday.
Well, we all know what this is about. This is about remote location. If we had any brains, we'd have a business that was under a roof. And by virtue of doing what we do, we accept this, and you just have to swing with it. It's part of the business.
Sunday's Winston Cup race went off without a hitch. 1 down and 1 to go.
So good morning. It's a strange thing to be saying from a racetrack, but here we've got today, unlike the rain we had Saturday, beautiful skies. It's about 75 degrees here, nice and breeze.
Unlike other sports, when you televise a race, really all you can format is the open right up to the green flag, because as we all know, after that anything can happen and probably will. So you can't do too much formatting after that. You do talk about stories that you want to be sure to tell during the day, but you really can't say where they're going to fit in until you see what the pace of the race is going to be.
Getting ready to roll here. Todd Bodine is going to get jumped by Jeff Gordon. They move into the green. Now Bodine comes up to speed, and Gordon and Robert Presley are going to have the front 2 spots as they settle down in turn 1.
It takes a lot of dedicated people to produce a live Winston Cup or Busch Grand National race. There are statisticians, spotters, and assistants. And while Mike Joy, Neil Bonnet, Steve Evans, Glenn Jarrett, and Buddy Baker are the ones calling all the action, you'd never get a chance to see it if the people behind the scenes weren't there to make it happen.
Gordon's the leader. Todd Bodine had moved into second.
I've had the good fortune of being involved with live telecast of races for a good number of years now, and I'll tell you, it still amazes me at what goes on behind the scenes, and hope you enjoyed that little piece. We need to take a short break. Still to come on this edition of Inside Winston Cup Racing are highlights of the Busch Grand Nationals from here at Dover, and as we leave you for this break, here's this week's Kodak Speedway Snapshot.
Brought to you by Kodacolored Gold 100 Film, the truest, most accurate color of any print film. Show your true colors on Kodacolored Gold Film, the official film of NASCAR.
The 1990 Battle Royale between Dale Earnhardt and Mark Martin for the Winston Cup Championship headlined in Phoenix before the Checker 500. With only 2 matches remaining on the schedule, Martin led Earnhardt by a mere 45 points. With Earnhardt breathing down Martin's neck, car owner Jack Roush decided a surprise tag team effort was in order. But Earnhardt fended off this attack, as well as taking the Winston Cup crown by amassing 355 points in the final 2 rounds of the 1990 chase for the Winston Cup Championship.